Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Hello, everybody. All right, I'm working on the camera. I'm here, folks. 1, 2, yay. Jambo, fellow adventurers, it's Mike Dooley, and I am here doing a little webcast to answer any questions you might have about anything at all. Please feel free to join me. Okay. And while I'm waiting for the first calls, go ahead and ask your questions. Waiting for the first questions. Come on down, people. If you have a question, go ahead and type it in the top right corner of the screen, and I would love to answer it. And we'll get this Google Hangout started. Go ahead, type your questions to the top right of the screen, and we will get going. This is a Google Live Hangout. Ask a question about life, happiness, dreams coming true, or anything under the sun. We are here for you. Go ahead and type your question. Should be to the top right of your screen. Am I pointing in the correct direction? Type your question and I'll answer video live. Go ahead and type your question, viewers. Yay. If you have a question, type it into the top right part of your screen and I will answer you immediately. This is just a free Q&A session where people can ask me a question about life, dreams, and happiness, one of my books, my present touring material, Bali, Kenya, whatever you like. If you've got a question, type your question and I would love to answer it. Just use the space. I believe I'm pointing to the right of your screen. Type in your question here and I will see it and read it aloud and answer it. Welcome, adventurers, welcome. Go ahead and ask your question about anything, life, dreams, and happiness. Go ahead and type in a question, and I will get an answer to you immediately. Pronto, right now. This is live. If you're having trouble seeing this, if you're having trouble signing up, type a question accordingly. Let me point out that you need to be a member of Google, have a Google account, I believe, to ask a question. But you don't have to be a member of Google to just sit by and watch, as you obviously see and are doing right now. Okay, first question. Hi, I know what I want to achieve and I try every day, but find it difficult to maintain enthusiasm and motivation. Any tips? Well, thank you, Polly, for asking a question. Yes, lots of tips here. I think given the primitive times that we've chosen to be alive, because these are very primitive times, spiritually speaking. No one really gets the degree to which we are of God, by God, pure God, nor does anyone get the degree to which we unfailingly and unceasingly create our reality with total responsibility to that end. If you got it and you knew who you really were of the divine, you would be much more confident, much more relaxed, much more optimistic, and it wouldn't seem like it's hard. You wouldn't be looking over your shoulder, is it working? You know it's working. So very simply, practice. Just know what you want, define it in terms of the end result, do something about it every day, certainly every week. Do something concrete about moving in the direction of in the direction of your dreams, and then just get back to the here and now, enjoying your life, enjoying who you already are, all you already have, simple things, hobbies, being amazing at work, being an amazing friend, being an amazing partner in your life. And it will get easier. I promise you. I have seen this in my own life. I'm 53 years old. I've known these truths for 30 plus years. And in the beginning, I had the same doubts, but it does get a whole lot easier with subsequent successes. Hey, Mike, do you have a daily routine that helps keep you tapped in, tuned in, turned on? I do, and most of it is very conventional, just discipline, a work ethic. Um, it's too easy to think that, oh, when you get this stuff, you can be your own boss and everything will just kind of la-di-da roll into your life. I very much partake of the German adage, order is half of life. The other half is magic, okay? But the first half, given that we're physical beings, is order, organization, and it's up to us to do that. So discipline. Other things that I do, when I want to be creative, I try to create space in the morning. I try not to get too crazy and carried away with emails and social media and the internet. I allow myself a little bit of play there, but I just start getting creative. The way I creatively write, my routine there is, before I sit down to write a note from the universe, I hold in my mind's eye the vision of my desired outcome, my desired end result, which invariably is that woohoo feeling I feel when I think I've written well. So for 1 minute, I'm visualizing like this, and I visualize with a timer. Let me show you. My timer is not on this part of my office. It's over there. But I have timers at home. I have timers here. The kitchen egg timer. And I set it for 1 minute and 10 seconds. And during that 1 minute, I'm just joyful about having written well. I don't think about what I'm going to write. And then I start writing after the visualization, which is always true. After the visualization, take action. And my action as a writer is to start writing. And I write anything that comes to mind, and it's usually not that good. But then it gets better and better, and I've summoned the magic, and so can anyone with similar end results. Other routines that I perhaps do creatively, I visualize every morning before I come to the office, before I leave the house, just in a general sense, usually happiness, joy, abundance, friends, hearing congratulations, and then other things. I create lots of little pockets for myself, particularly at home, to walk a dog when I had a dog. Dog passed away. Smoke a cigar and just kind of get grounded. And anybody can do that. Give yourself some space, if you will. All right, I am answering questions. If you're listening and watching right now, you're catching this live. If you're on YouTube watching this, there's like a 2-minute delay. If you're on Google Plus, you're seeing this with about a 2-second delay. Where I'm pointing right now, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you are able to type in your questions, and I will see them live. As I've just seen this one, I will select them, and then I will answer them. And we're doing this for another 20 minutes. So call mom and all of your friends and get them to tune in. Okay, the question I'm answering now, I dabbled with legal high drugs, scary stuff, been clean for 6 months, but still have mad thoughts, always thinking the world is about to end. I am trying everything you have just said, i.e. return to work, try and love folk, but still have dark, horrible thoughts. Here's the trick, Vera. For where we've been and for what we've been through, we tend to think that, aha, that's the reason I have crazy thoughts. That's the reason I feel sad and lonely. That's the reason I sometimes feel depressed. That's the reason I don't have more clarity in life. That's the reason I always feel awkward in social settings. All those things I just named are things I have felt at different points in my life, and I haven't gone through the legal high drugs that you've talked about. And all of those things I just named are something you have in common with perhaps everybody on the planet. But the person who has been violated thinks that it's because they were violated. The person who never finished high school and they're embarrassed about it, they think the reason they feel those things is because they never finished high school. And the person who experimented with legal high drugs and now they're sober for 6 months think that that's the reason that they went through this. Now, I may be simplifying this a little bit, and I know that there's more to your life than what you went through 6 months ago. But do you see the point I'm getting at? We tend to feel that we are shaped, more than is true, by our past. But then thinking that, we feel limited and trapped by our past. And the friends of mine who have been violated, who have been molested, who have been abused, who have been addicted, they feel like they're victims of their past, when the truth is we all go through these funky, crazy, weird, depressed, sad, lonely thoughts, dark, horrible thoughts, end of the world thoughts. Yeah, man, I thought in 2012 things may have gotten a lot worse than they did kind of thoughts. And they still might, but it wasn't because of the past. You are more powerful than you're giving yourself credit for, Vera. And it's okay that you've been through what you've been through, and it's okay that you're tackling those things right now. What's most important is that you really get what I'm saying earlier, that you are of the divine, by the divine, for the divine, and now your thoughts become things. And it doesn't matter where you've been. That holds no bearing on where you're going. So, like Van Gogh might have said, if you ever have those weird, crazy, end of the world thoughts, by all means have them as you move forward to a brighter day. Van Gogh really said, if you ever have that voice inside of you that says, I cannot paint, then by all means paint, and it will go away. I think you're still pointing the wrong way. Oh, well, nobody told me before. So am I pointing in the right way now? Is this where people are supposed to type their questions if they're logged in at Google+? I'd like to get that straight going forward. So thank you very much for that tip. Hello, Susan Ritter. Nice to have you on board. And we've got many dozens of people watching, but virtually none of you are typing in questions. Right now, there's not a single pending question. So if you have a question about abundance or relationships or happiness or past lives or dead people or whatever, UFOs, Atlantis, the Bigfoot, Yetis, come on, this is your chance. All right, we got a yes. Okay, so I'm pointing in the right direction. People who are signing up right now, type in your question to me here at Google Plus, and I will be able live to see that question and answer your question. If you're watching the recorded version of this, believe it or not, a lot of people watch the recorded versions of this and they wonder why they can't communicate with me, because I'm not there. This, however, if you're watching this, that's pretty tricky. Mind flip. If you're watching this now, how would you know I'm saying that live? Or if it's Tuesday at 2:15 Eastern Time. You are watching this live. Tuesday, December 9th, that is. Okay, so let's see here. For the most part, I do really well with staying connected throughout the day, especially when I'm immersed in my baby steps. Wow, exactly. That's what baby steps do for us. However, my scary monsters seem to always rear their ugly heads in the middle of the night, often oftentimes waking me up. Yeah, that sounds like you're so normal, Susan, and I don't want to make light of that. Um, I can tell you the same was true for me, particularly during the scary transitions. If you've heard my work or my talks when I chronicle my story of the past 14 years, when I was going from t-shirt retailer, entrepreneur to WTF my life, happened to my life, I was petrified and I was afraid I'd lose my home. I was afraid the best of my life was behind me. I was afraid I had lost all momentum and I wouldn't be able to move forward positively again. And during those times, it was worse in the evenings and at night. But here's something to know. Whenever I've gone through my own terror, my own fears, runaway trains of self-doubt, self-loathing, those were the times I was acutely aware of the fact that our thoughts become things. And I was especially mindful that my thoughts were dire, ugly, terrifying. And I would think to myself, oh, I'm so doomed. Not only do I have no light to look for down the end of the tunnel, but I'm a negative, pessimistic, dreary, sad, lonely old man. And really, it would just seem like a double whammy. But I have seen in each of my life's transitions, in each of my life's crises, that no matter how negative or terrified or worried I was, if I still at least tried to be positive for at least one time a day, visualized with a timer for 5 minutes, if I would read a little bit of Seth, the Seth material by Jane Roberts, or look at my recommended reading list at tut.com, if I would work for those few minutes on a vision board, like you see in the back right there. Can you see my vision board? Yeah, beyond the globe. It was if those measly attempts to grasp onto some modicum, whatever the word is, of positivity was always enough to counterbalance and offset an entire flipping day worth of negativity, combined with, as you said, the baby steps. Always stay busy. It keeps you occupied and it helps the universe reach you faster. It was always enough to avoid the disasters I feared so much. And so if you can do the same, and my gosh, you can, you will ride on through these transitions and scary points in your life. And when you wake up in the middle of the night, you'll find it hard to fall asleep because you'll be so excited about all the crazy, wonderful things and opportunities that are now happening in your life, as is true for me today. Great question. Thank you very much, Susan. All right, so now we're getting some questions. Good, good. We still got at least 11 minutes. Google Plus users. All right, let me show this to everyone who's learning how to use this. Google Plus users, use the upper right-hand corner there. Hit the icon with the 9 squares. Select Q&A. The question box will open on the right-hand side of the video. It tends to default to showcase mode. Thank you so much, Cheryl. Very much appreciated. Okay, I'm now pointing in the right direction, I'm told. I'm happy to hear that. Any tips for insomnia? Wow, that was a little bit uncanny because the question was similar to the last one. And yes, I do have a tip for insomnia. So here's the deal. With insomnia, like with so many other ailments, whether they're physical pains, knee pain, back pain, whatever, or psychological pains. And I'm always speaking from experience. These have been my pains and my issues in the past. Here's what I found. When I went through my spell of insomnia, uh, different times in my adult life, I think in my 20s and then in my 40s, and now it's so long ago I don't even remember it, and it's not a problem. You will find that it will pass too. But if I sat there tortured, the torture would turn into worry. The worry would turn into fear. And what if I don't get enough sleep? And how am I going to get through the day? And my day is not worth living, and my life is not worth having. And why can't I fall asleep? And oh, I feel so awake. And why don't I? I would just beat myself to pieces, driven on more and more by this snowballing of fear that it was going to really make my life more and more uncomfortable, more and more unlivable. Until finally, now this might sound overly simplified to you, and your case may be much different than my case, but finally, in one of those very many sleepless nights, I had this thought of, you know, if I get tired enough, I'm going to fall asleep. I can't not fall asleep. I mean, when you start pushing 20, 24, 36 hours, you're gonna fall asleep. The body cannot go for days and days without sleep. Now, yeah, that's really extreme. And I certainly wasn't going through that kind of insomnia, but I would tell myself at 4 o'clock in the morning when I hadn't slept all night, like, look, if, if you needed it as much as you're worried about needing it, you'd be getting it and you'd be asleep right now. So, hey, you're not going to fall asleep. You might not fall asleep all night. So, hey, daydream, visualize, try some incantations, some mantras, or just get the heck up. Go try some creative writing, dabble on the internet, watch some TV. Um, the point being, don't put so much importance on the fact that you are now going through this little spell of insomnia. It's not important. And if you needed to sleep, you'd be sleeping right through it. So obviously you don't. Perhaps you'll take a nap tomorrow. If you can't get a nap, then you don't get a nap. But just don't give it so much importance. Your body has an inner healing mechanism, an autopilot for balance. And this is true for health, sleep, abundance, cash, friends. And just being aware of it as you are, and now knowing that your body can take care of it for you, even if you worry about it not working, it's still inclined to work and succeed. You're good to go. And that message applies to all of the questioners who I addressed their thoughts earlier. How do you keep going? How do you keep the faith? How do you just know that you're so inclined to succeed, given your lineage, that even your thoughts of fear and worry aren't ever going to be enough to derail you. The same thing with getting a good night's sleep. Just, you don't sleep, you don't sleep. You might not sleep for the next 5 nights. Okay, that's the way it's going to be. It is what it is. And you'll see that all of a sudden you're sleeping like a baby. All right. Don't have a question. Thank you for the notes. Over and over. Oh, that's great to hear. Thank you very much, Christina. I appreciate that. Is it okay to desire a beach home, but being attached, as you say, to wealth and abundance? Yes, yes. It's okay. Very good student here, Gerard. Wealth and abundance is a great end result. It's one of the Fantastic Five, as I teach in my Playing the Matrix, and the Fantastic Five plus happiness. So wealth and abundance is great because it's general. Now, a beach home, that's much more specific, but it wouldn't be the only thing you're thinking about. But is it okay to want one? Heck yeah. So I would visualize that you're in a beach home. Just don't insist that it be that beach home with the red roof, the tin roof, the swimming pool, the tennis court on that address. Then you're getting overly attached and you're encumbering the universe and yourself and you're worrying. So hold on to the big picture, then visualize the details, including a beach house, okay? And remember, the big picture is much more important than the beach house. But the beach house ought to be something on your vision board, and it ought to be among other things that are also on your vision board. So don't end up obsessing about a beach house. Not that that won't work, it could well work, but you just don't want to risk it or limit yourself. You're about abundance, and abundance is going to give you the opportunity to have beach house, mountain house, pool house, boat house, whatever kind of house you want in any kind of country you want. So that's what's important. That's the end result. That's what you'll take baby steps towards. And to get excited about the vagueness there, a beach house and walking through its every room, opening its every door, peering from its every window would be a great thing to visualize. Mike, is it possible to turn cursed house into blessed house? Interestingly enough, that has been proposed before, and I'm not quite sure, Jim, how you mean that. I was told early on that my reference to the house as being cursed is not that helpful or conducive. It ought to be called the blessed house. Let them be the blessed house, because the universe is going to use one of them to make your dream come true. Sure, just so long as you're not insisting on any one of those blessed house being how the universe reaches you. So it's just really a turn of phrase in this example, and absolutely more power to you. Call them the blessed house. I think I'm going to stick with the cursed house because it just resonates too quickly and needs no explanation with most people right off the cuff. But for PhD students like you, Jim, who are really getting this stuff and you want to dress up language a little bit, empowering idea. I love this too, Susan. Thank you very much. And now let's see, a few more questions, 3 more minutes. I feel there is more I can be doing to contribute in life. And of course, oops, let me select that so you can all read it. Okay, Susie, I feel there is more I can be doing to contribute in life. And of course, want to make that something I can be paid for. So you want to contribute and get paid for. You're feeling kind of stagnant right now. You feel like, I feel a tug to help others to speak, but I don't know how to get started without money for seminars. Okay, well, you probably know of my story, Susie. So if you don't, it's chronicled in all of my books, particularly Manifesting Change or Leveraging the Universe. I share it in Playing the Matrix. But I was where you are 14 years ago, terrified, had nothing to offer, nothing for sale, liquidated the business. But I did open a website. It was still the old t-shirt business website from Andy and Mom's time. They didn't want tut.com. I needed something. So I had tut.com and Microsoft Front Page. Today you can buy WordPress and you can create your own web page. And from that web page, I began sending out weekly Monday morning motivators that were kind of dorky and silly from Mike. And then they turned into daily silver bullets. And I always made sure I wrote to the best of my ability. Now, this is just baby steps. This was in addition to circulating my accountant's resume. This was in addition to joining Toastmasters to get over my fear of speaking. This was in addition to exploring irrigation repair entrepreneurship. This was in addition to attending trade shows and trade fairs, trying to look for what might be my gig in life at 39 years old, facing a reset, start over point in my life. So I was doing all these things. You should do lots of things. And the one thing that stuck the most was these free weekly emails, because I would write them and I would work on them until they were pretty damn good. I thought they were good. You want to think that what you write is good if you want to write or if you want to speak. And because the writing was coming along, it turned into dailies. I thought, well, maybe I should speak about this to create a source of income, because the emails were free. And I could see no way of getting money out of the internet any more than one could get water out of a rock. But I felt like I was onto something. And then a year into this, which is a long time to be kind of hoping you're on the right path, And again, I was going to trade fairs. I was asking for help. I was, poking around everywhere to try to figure out, how I might restart my life. I was attending franchise shows. I was reading Success magazine, Entrepreneur magazine. I was really at a scary, desperate time in my life. But the emails kept working, and writing as Mike, although never that popular, although some people really appreciate it, which kept me going, I had this idea to write as the universe. And immediately it was very well received. And in short order, that's all I ever did. And for the last 12 years, I've been writing notes from the universe. I never would have got to the notes from the universe stage if I hadn't first written it as Mike, even though writing as Mike was never as popular as writing as the universe. I go into this story in much greater detail in a lot of my work, including the DVD, The Path Less Traveled, at my website. I believe you can watch it at Amazon Instant Video, whatever. It's a good question, and I got a good story here. So to kind of cut the chase here, all of this eventually snowballed into my career today. Speaking for free at Toastmasters turned into speaking for free at Rotary clubs, turned in for speaking for almost free at Unity churches, turned into invitations to speak around the world, turned into world tours. My world tour, I'm on my 4th world tour right now, and it's a world tour. I mean, from Africa to Asia to Turkey to Russia to Australia, New Zealand, the Pacific Rim, South America, Central America. It's like a fairy tale, to being invited to be in The Secret. Meanwhile, the notes from the universe have given me my wings, or I should say the subscribers of Notes from the Universe have given me my wings, and it's still a free service. And only in hindsight did it make sense as a part of a business model, if you will, that makes my life possible today, that makes my books possible, my audio programs possible, my DVDs and world tours possible. It's because I can tell subscribers, appreciative subscribers, of what I'm doing next and how to be a part of it, like your participation on this Google Live Hangout right now. So I know the feeling so well, Susie. I know it so well. And the story is told better in my DVD, The Path Less Traveled, although I think I conveyed much of it just now. It is now 2:32, and I've got a lot of exciting things I'm working on, fellow adventurers. I am putting together, we're tight here, so I can tell you, under the hushed voices, the new kids book. It won't come out until next summer, but there's a new kids book, children's book, picture book, that's really fun, and I'm excited to be working on that right now. And what else is exciting that I can tell you about? Oh, new world tour dates, Los Angeles, San Diego, Phoenix, Tucson, soon to be announced. Bali, and well, next fall we're going to Africa. It still looks like we're going to Africa, but it might not be what we've been telling you all along because of certain unrest and turmoil in that part of the world. So expect a big announcement really soon as to where else in Africa we might be taking a WOW tour in less than 1 year, maybe 10 months. Maybe you can join us, and I would be thrilled if that was the case. I'm going to do a lot more of these Google Hangouts on air, particularly beginning with New Year. I appreciate that you participated and watched this one, whether live or the recording, and I look forward to the next one. Until then, tally-ho and every best wish, and I won't say happy holidays just yet because I'm going to be back before the holidays with another Hangout.